a victim of any form of gunshot wounds, first and foremost, you don't begin to ask for police report as it used to be. You must bring police report. A policeman must be here before I can treat this person. And if you do that, most times such victims have ended up losing their lives, and that's why this law has come into play. And I think it's a law in the right direction. It's a human right friendly law.
Wow.
Indeed, it's a human right friendly law, and a lot of Nigerians in their reactions to that are very happy about it. But then there are also questions as to how far the implementation of the law will go. And then there have been issues where Nigerians are asking, and I want to pose that as my next question. Let's say a situation plays out, and an ordinary Nigerian who is not within the police force or a force person gets to meet and see a gunshot victim, and then takes the person to the hospital, and for some reason the hospital refused to attend to this person. And I'll bring to your mind a situation that played out some time ago in my life, where an accident victim alongside somewhere along the IBB way was down, and then as a student coming back from school, I happened to be on the scene, and we took the person to the hospital. But because I didn't have money on me as a student, and the young man who drove the car that hit the woman also didn't have money, the hospital almost did not treat that person. It took the intervention of somebody who just stumbled in the hospital, and I had to approach, owing to the scenario I found myself, and then explain for the man to say, you know what, I'll take care of these initial hospital payment before the hospital could attend to the woman. And this was an elderly woman who was dying. So if we have such situation play out within an hospital system, what are the possible sanctions or punitive measures that would go to such an hospital?
Yes, the law is clear. The law is clear about it. The law is that such persons, definitely the management or the persons that are directly involved that have failed to so perform that duty, definitely will be held liable. If you look at the subsisting law, there are sanctions that the law has prescribed that will be carried out. But I think what people should do in such scenarios is you first and foremost, because first aid is key. So you do not have to wait like what that hospital did. That was wrong. At least you carry out the initial or the preliminary first aid treatment. You try to stop the bleeding or control the bleeding while contacts are being made or people are being called in to assist. But that initial first aid, that initial treatment must be commenced. And where you see that probably the drugs that needs to be done are not available, you begin to make contact. But the law is very clear that such persons who come into facilities carrying gunshot wounds as a result of any form, be it robbery or accident, or mostly as a result of maybe attacks, should be attended to without delay. The whole essence, as I said, is to ensure that lives can be promptly saved rather than allowing them to bleed to death.
Okay, sir. So we're going to navigate a little bit of this conversation because I mean you've well handled it. So let's come down to Uyo. We know that we are having spikes of like pockets of security issues here and there. There's a lot of theft going on around. There's been a couple of reports. What would we say is giving rise to these kinds of activities in our very peaceful Akwa Ibom state?
I think I need to correct first and foremost when you say there's a spike or there's an upsurge or rise. No, that's not true. The rate, if you juxtapose what is prevalent in other areas, you discover that is still much more peaceful. The state is still one of the most peaceful states in the country. Indeed, you will find one or two criminality, one or two criminal acts being done, but that's because it's society. We are in society. There's no how you can extricate society from criminality. Definitely, you will find one or two persons doing things. In fact, sociologically, if you find a society, in fact, it doesn't exist. Sociologically, you can't find a society. We should question such a society where crime is not being committed. It will exist in utopia. So definitely you will find people, you find deviants in society who will do one or two things that are not acceptable, and that's what we are seeing. There's an upsurge in urbanization. There's there's population. Uyo Akwa Ibom State is opening up. Is now a tourist a destination of choice, a destination of choice for tourists, for investors, and so you find out that more people are coming into the state. That automatically means that the population as well has increased. So whenever you find an increase in population, definitely you find an increase in some level of criminality. People can now assess the state through different ways and all that. So, but there are measures in place. We have been able to, as an agency, as a lead agency, we have been able to put measures in place to ensure that we can continue to nip in the bud criminality before they can get out of hand. But indeed, we are experiencing an increase in crimes such as car snatching, yes, yes, one or two robberies. But as I said, you find such things in society. But what we have done, what are we doing? What steps have we taken to checkmate them? That's what is fundamental. And I think the Akwa Ibom State Police Command has done so much in seeing that we can, if we cannot totally eradicate it, which is not possible, but we've been able to bring it, reduce it to the barest minimum.
All right. Before we get to ask you about what this police force is doing to make sure that crime is reduced to the barest minimum, one of the things that have been surfacing consistently within the Akwa Ibom State environment has been the issue where people get robbed inside minibuses, where we have tinted buses taking people to unknown destinations and they are getting robbed, where we have people getting robbed inside keke and tricycles, and of course we even have situations of tricycles being taken away from people or being collected from people. And another angle has been those situations where you find children being kidnapped using tricycles. Now, in that regard, what is the police force doing to ensure that possibly they have a full coverage of this group of personalities?
One of the things we've done is to be able to liaise with this. There are bodies that regulate tricycles. Bikes are not allowed within the metropolis. That's why if we see any motorcycle within the metropolis, we apprehend. But we liaise with these bodies, KK bodies, KK Association, minibus associations, and all that. And they are registered, so we can have a track. We track and we can identify and all that. Tinted buses are not allowed, so as much as possible we try to ensure that buses conveying people are not tinted. And then again, the KKs, that's the tricycles, we have bound and we've ensured that there are coverage by the side of the KK, these tricycles. Those you no longer use them in the state. We do not want to look at the time of season. We are interested in, because they cover their victims and carry them. I mean, some persons have told us that suffered from hypnosis. They have been hypnotized and taken to environments that they never planned to be. So keep your tricycles open. Don't block them with those ladders and all that, so that we can see the people inside. People can see themselves rather than you covering them. So that we are ensuring. But then, of course, as I said, we may not be able to get it 100% because we cannot be everywhere every time. And that's why we continue to ask the good people of this state, which I must give a lot of credence to. The Commissioner of Police, CP Andrew Miageme, newly promoted AIG now, is one man who has been a very CP friendly, a people friendly CP, and a human rights advocate himself. And he has been able to partner with members of the community. And I must thank members of the community because they've been there for us, giving us timely information. We've been able to leverage on information at our disposal, and we've been able to take the state, working with sister security agencies and the government of the day, to get the state to where we are now security-wise. And so you find one or two of those situations happening. But as a command, we've taken more steps. You say, if you look around the state, you will see our vehicles at strategic locations. That's because one of our strategies is to ensure that in line with the directive of the Inspector General of Police, IGP Alkali Babasman, we can be visible. Visibility policing is the in thing. It deters criminals when there's police presence. So we should be felt in every part of the state, and that's why our strategic locations within Uyo and other parts of Akwa Ibom State, you can see our vehicles coming out and dominating their AORs, that their areas of responsibilities. And again, we've increased our intelligence gathering mechanisms. As soon as we got information that this is what the people are doing, at times, our SIB personnel, our state CID personnel, these guys in different forms, and we are able to, get across to these people, nip in the bud or reduce, as I did say earlier, to the barest minimum worth but not for these strategies and so many other steps that are in place. I think, as somebody would say, it could have been worse.
Okay, sir. So the question I have still based on that is the fact that sometimes we have people run into these kinds of situations, maybe say an armed robbery attack at night, and they try to reach out to police forces to help them come rescue. There's a robbery going on in my area. Sometimes I know that as of 2 weeks or 3 weeks back, we had a report of where a situation, the response wasn't what people facing a crisis at that time should be hearing. And I don't know what kinds of disciplinary measures are put in place if we have, say, like you have said, we have police vans situated in strategic places. Trouble is going on 15 minutes away from that place. You call the van and then the van gives you excuse or something, or reportedly it's more like, oh, they will come 30 minutes after the time, after the robbers have already gone. How are these kinds of things managed?
Well, in Akwa Ibom State, we rarely, I'm not saying that they do not happen sometimes, but we've rarely received such reports. Rather, we've received a lot of commendation for responding very swiftly to distress calls, because as I said, you can see our vehicles at strategic locations. And also we've been able to disseminate to a very large extent our numbers, our hotlines, distress call numbers where people can, whenever they find themselves in distress, they can call, and then we are able to respond. Even though some persons have failed to take advantage of it. And then, but fundamentally what you need to ask is, at what time did the information get to the police? Because most times what we've observed is something will happen, you fail to tell the police as at when you should. An incident is taking place, a robbery incident is taking place, you don't tell the police on time, you wait until when they have come and gone, when police, depending on when the police got the report to be there. And then when they come, you say, these useless people. No, we are not useless people, they are not useless people. It depends on when the information was relayed to the police, one. Secondly, it also depends on where the police vehicle, that particular van you have seen in that place, is not static. It's not meant to be static. So that you put a call across doesn't mean that van will approach you immediately if it's there. But Imagine if there had been another distress call prior to that time. If that same vehicle, because you see a vehicle here is meant to attend to cover a particular area, the jurisdiction of that particular will be wide. For you and I know that these vehicles are inadequate at most times. In states that are not too nice, so they are working around the clock. A particular vehicle will be used from 6 in the morning to 6 p.m. in the evening. From 6 p.m. another team will take it from 6 p.m. in the evening to 6 a.m. working around the clock. That's how the police work. They work around the clock, because you can never see a police station and say this police station then close. So they don't go, then go break, then go public holiday. Police really go public holiday. So we are always there. So if that particular vehicle has gone to respond to another distress call, they may not be able to respond to you immediately. So you need to understand. But that's what we do. As a command, we have tactical teams. So if this one does not respond, we will raise another one. The one that is closest to, that is closer to that person, or that is not busy, or that has finished a particular assignment, will immediately begin to come towards that area or rescue that person. So by the grace of God, our response time has been swift. We've increased pace. It takes us 5 minutes. I've seen. I was on occasion last week. I was in a particular place, and a great son of the soil, somebody testified to them. He said he specifically mentioned the time. He said 6 minutes. That within 6 minutes, the Akwa Ibom State Police Command had dominated the area and rescued the victims and chased them. And that's how it should be. But people need to, I'm going to leave some of these lines so that people can take advantage of it. And you find people, most times, instead of them calling these numbers, I used to tell people, try and have a phone. Phones are not that expensive now again. You can find a phone for 2,000-3,000. Or my young friends will have good phones. They are busy. Yes, you should be on social media. Then go do social media, say battery go die. So we are not against it. And the whole data, the whole airtime will finish. And people should try and have, even if it's a small phone, and then leave small airtime inside. For emergencies. 50 naira, 100 naira. Yeah? Rather than flashing the police. Because one of the things we experience is that people prefer to flash. Somebody is in a distress situation, is flashing you to call him.
Yeah, that happens.
They'll flash you, and then you call them, and then... but what about if you have left a little? At least you should be able to talk to us. Hello, good morning, sir. I'm in a distress situation. We will now find out from you. Where is your address? Where are you calling from? You should be able to give us basic information. Not you are flashing. Remember that as you are trying to reach the emergency line, so many other persons are also trying to reach that line. So the person who is able to talk first, you will try to attend to that person first before you now come back and check whether you have credit, and then you now try to get back to the flasher and all that. So people should try as much as possible to have airtime on their phones, and then take advantage of these emergency numbers and reach out to us. And we've continued to preach the message by saying, look, when you say something, say something. Don't just say it's not happening to me because the rain is not falling on my roof, so I have to keep quiet. No. And I must commend the good people of this country, and Akwa Ibom State particularly, because the enlightenment has increased. People are beginning to speak up. People are beginning to say something about security. When they see a threat here or there, they talk about it, and that's how it should be. So when you see something, say something. When you hear something, say something on time so that we can take steps. And above all, I've said that, look, even when you suspect something, say something.
Okay, sir. So now that we are even on the matter of say something, we'd like for you to just call out the numbers so we can even project it on our screen as of now. So while you are trying to get the number to project, another issue that has been on rampage nationwide is this issue of mob killings. I know that the police force has a stance with regards to this. We have laws in the Federal Republic of Nigeria that have stance, with regards to this matter. But the issue seems to be skyrocketing. People just get, sometimes it's even false allegation, first of all. But before you know it, a tire has come out, fuel has come out, matches has landed, and someone has been burnt before we try to explain what happened. What's the situation on ground, and how is the police force, trying to handle this? Just after you call the numbers.
Okay, thank you. This number is available 247 080 39 21 3071. I'd like to repeat that: 080 39 21 3071. It's available 247. It's our control hotline number. There is another also. This other one is a 081 89 20. I'd like to take that again: 081 89 24 39 and 35. Let me take it again: 081 89 24 39 and 35. So these numbers are available 247. The people there, as we observe later, they need a closed shop. Just get across to us, we will move. Now to jungle justice. Jungle justice is a travesty of justice. Jungle justice is against international conventions, international human rights standards. Jungle justice is a pain. Jungle justice ought not to be. And our laws are against the laws of the land, are against jungle justice. Jungle justice is is deceptive. It's bad. Jungle justice is such that a person, an innocent person can just suffer from something that he or she knows nothing about. It's pathetic. I think it's high time we all rise and say enough of jungle justice in this country. Enough of jungle justice in Akwa Ibom State. We can't continue like this. Now, if you check some of the offenses, because offenses are classified, we have classification of offenses. An offense might be felonious, that it might be a felony. Somebody might commit an offense that is a felony. And of course, if the police apprehend such a person, the police cannot grant bail to such a person. Somebody might also commit an offense that is termed to be a misdemeanor. A misdemeanor. An offense can also be just a simple offense. Simple traffic offenses. And then maybe somebody commits a misdemeanor and you are setting the person ablaze. There's no wisdom.
Misdemeanor.
Just offenses that, if you check, even when they are committed, when they are convicted, the person on conviction, it will be between 3 years, just a short period of time, or just such offenses. The police grants bail. Assault, small stealing here. For instance, I watched a real life situation. I was coming back from church on a Sunday, just about 2 weeks ago, and then the driver to my commissioner was dedicating his baby. And so after church, I had to go there to in solidarity. Lo and behold, at the Goodluck Jonathan Boulevard, before you get to Ring Road 3, the new Ring Road 3 that they're just doing. I saw a crowd of people, a crowd, saw persons everywhere, and I became concerned. Of course, the security of the state is paramount to us. So, if whatever you can do to stop a situation from escalating, you try. So I packed, and before I could even get there, I saw the flames. And what did he do? For crying out loud, what did the young man do? He stole a battery from a nearby church. Just the car. There's a car. The man was in the church, and then he went and removed his battery. A vehicle battery that is just 25,000, 28,000, and 20,000 in some cases. Is that what should warrant the lynching of that young man? I am not saying it is right for anybody to commit crime. It is abominable. It's bad for somebody to park his vehicle and then you go and remove the battery head. Remove the battery and take it. Why do you want him to drive home? At times, they will even carry the whole vehicle. We've seen people come to us and say, why we went to church, as we were praying inside, before we could come back, they have carried my Toyota. And I'm like, God, somebody they pray to God. This person, the person that has carried this vehicle is looking for whether he will go to hellfire direct. Because somebody is serving his God, is praying to his God, and then you come, you carry his vehicle, he waka go, he drive go church, but coming back now, he go waka go house. Is that painful? But again, should such persons, if they are caught, should they be killed? No, it is wrong. In fact, it's an abomination. You shouldn't do it. Allow the law takes its course. Hand such persons over to the police. Okay, take by yourself. If you carry them, go court. Carry them, go court directly. But I like to thank God because the good people of this state, they now have more confidence in we, the Akwa Ibom State Police Command. Because as I said to them, I challenge anybody today who has reported any matter to the police, and I used to tell them, follow us to court. Follow us, we'll be giving you update. That's why we give update about situations. If we will apprehend somebody and you hand over to us, gone are the days where people used to say, I fear, I don't want to give, because I know trust police. Then go release the person. Release who? We cannot release somebody that you have helped, a criminal that you have helped, to hand over to the police for prosecution. Please follow up. Come to the state headquarters, come to the office of the PR, come to the office of the commissioner, deputy commissioner, and then you will see that these persons are being prosecuted. That's what we are doing. So we should all rise up and speak against jungle justice. It's not good. It's a travesty of justice. It ought not to be. We should allow the people be given the opportunity of fair hearing, which is enshrined in our constitution.
Are there punitive measures that are put in place if the people who carried out this jungle justice are caught?
You carry out jungle justice, you lynch somebody, we arrest you, you've committed murder. You will go for murder. You will go for if the person did not die and you have so assaulted the person and all. There are different offenses that we can different charges that can be proffered against such persons. So it should be avoided because an innocent life might, it is strike law that it is better for 9 thieves to go scot-free than for one innocent person to be so unjustly treated. Somebody that knows nothing. Before you know, they bring tires, bring fuel, and the person is trying to explain. You are not giving him the opportunity. You have denied him fair hearing. You have violated the Constitution. The man is entitled to fair hearing. Even God himself, in the Garden of Eden, even when he knew what Adam had done, he still asked him, Adam, have you eaten of the fruit that I asked you not to eat? He gave him fair hearing so that he can explain himself. Even though he started complaining about my sister.
So fair hearing is a thing that must be done in the country, and our guest has been an awesome guest this morning. The last example is a straw that has broken the camel's back. Even God gives you fair hearing. He knows you have done this one, but he asks you questions. So let's try and be more lenient. And of course, like our PR has said this morning, the police is very responsive to every call that is placed. So we should trust the judgment of the police force, that once we call them in these kinds of cases, that they can quickly come in, take up the person and treat the matter right, instead of us having more people who are getting lynched. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on the show this morning. It's been an
Precious.
extensive conversation with you. And we know that the good people of Akwa Ibom State have profited, immensely with these informations.
All right.
Round up.
Thank you once again for coming on the show. But before I let you go, there is one question that just came to mind. We know that we are in that period, the electioneering period, where a lot of crime also come up as a result of the period we are in. And then, as a matter of advice at this point, what would you say to Akwa Ibomites? What would you say to the electors going forward as concerns the security situation?
Yes, thank you. 2023 is just by the corner, and it's a civic duty. We're expected to go out there and vote for candidates of our choice. Those we want to rule us, they should be the ones that we should give our mandates to go out and represent us at different levels, and become our leaders. But yes, when we approach elections or during elections time, we find out that there seems to be some level of upsurge because of the political activities and all that. In Akwa Ibom State, you can see, by the grace of God, during the primaries, we were able to, the CP in his wisdom, CP Andrea Megame, made sure that all parties, all candidates, everybody, there is a level playing ground security-wise for us. We are able to, it doesn't matter who, it doesn't matter the party, we are for everybody. The Nigeria Police Force is for everybody, so we are able to provide security for throughout the entire local government, or that process where that process is taking place. But we are also aware that, of course, you find an increase in the proliferation of arms or lights, this locally made, and people fighting. Hoodlums taking advantage of situations. You find that some of them begin to get involved in acts of arson, assault, harassment, and all that, and sometimes robberies and all that. We are aware of this. We are not new to that business, but what we do is what is important. So there are steps in place. We make sure that when we get to that level, we increase our security presence, we increase our intelligence gathering mechanisms, we make ourselves to be more visible. There's more visibility policing, and then of course we engage our stakeholders more. I think our youths need to know that you don't need to die for any politician. It's not worth it. You shouldn't stake your life for any. No, it shouldn't be so. You don't need to carry arms. You don't need to carry ammunitions. You don't need to kill. You don't need to maim just because you want to a particular politician to emerge as a winner. Let's allow the right things to be done, the right processes to be followed. So, as a command, we will continue to create the enabling environment for everybody, for all the players, for the politicians, for the people, before the elections, during the elections, and after the elections. We will continue to see that Akwa Ibom State remains one of the most peaceful states. We will continue to see that the good people of this state can continue to sleep with their eyes closed, irrespective of whether we are in an election period or not. So these mechanisms are already on ground. These steps are already being taken, and we are consolidating on them. We are leveraging on our successes prior to this time to see how we can increase on what we have to do. But by the grace of God, Akwa Ibom State has been peaceful. Akwa Ibom State will continue to be peaceful before the elections, the 2023 elections. And during the elections, Akwa Ibom State will be peaceful. And after the elections 2023, Akwa Ibom State will continue to be peaceful. But we can't do this alone as security agencies. That's why we have to call on members of the public. there's a tripartite relationship that exists between us, a triangular relationship where you have the government, the people, and the police or the security agencies. The government needs to provide leadership. The government needs to provide logistics for security agencies to work with. And then the people themselves need to know that the police, for instance, is the people's police. It's our police. This is our police. This is not Afghanistan police. This is not one Bahrain police or wherever. This is the Nigeria police. This is policing in Akwa Ibom State. And we must know that we need to cooperate with the police. And then you suspect something, say it on time so that we will be able to nip in the bud criminality. And then, of course, security agencies need to up their game. We, as the lead agency in internal security, the first responders, the police, the Akwa Ibom State Police Command, we are committed to the cause of policing and policing based on international best practices. We are committed to policing Akwa Ibom State in such a way that the people, and we are getting results. The people will know that they have a police. So I call on my colleagues out there, police out there, that we must continue to respect fundamental rights. We must continue to know that without the people, there can be no police. Without the people, there can be no police. In fact, as I keep saying, if the people decide that they don't want police again, it's very possible. Because all they need to do is to stop committing crime. And I will come back here. I'll just come to Spectrum and say, Spectrum, just find one small office for me. Let me just follow and be, help my sister to be doing newscasting or other things. So the policing is for the people. You must police with human face. You must police with the fear of God. You must police knowing that one day you will account for your actions. So that relationship between the government, the police, and the people must be strengthened for us to be able to take this country and this state to the El Dorado that we want to get it to.
Wow. Thank you so much. Such a full morning. We're going to take our very last break, and when we return, we'll be wrapping up the show. Thank you very much, sir, for coming.
Thank you, Akwa Ibomites.
Elections in Nigeria is characterized by fraud.
It is not pure election because of the way they conduct it.
The elections are here again. For us in Akwa Ibom State, it is another opportunity to elect credible and potential leaders.
But I see some of them are not really credible.
In fact, when you talk about the credibility in Nigerian system, it's absent.
As for the aspirants, what are your plans to better the lives of citizens and ensure that it is not just another era of political promises?
Some aspirants came up with so childish kind of manifesto, something that you know that they cannot do.
Even if after campaigning and promising heaven and earth, you find out that by the time they come in, they cannot do 50% of what they promised.
Because they are coming to see this. If they don't use this, they will not achieve what they want. So it is the normal thing they must use to convince a man that does not have a proper ideology to vote them.
So it's just a mere slogan. It's just a mere slogan to use and have their right into power.
What do you, the people, think about the elections?
The electoral process has been marred by malpractice and all of that.
That's a bad thing in Nigeria. All election night is about money.
Definitely, no matter what the reform they are carrying out, they will still be rigging.
It's about the aspirants, the manifesto, the people's view, and in-depth analysis.
That godfatherism is what has eaten deep into our political system. It has become a cankerworm that has left our political system into a corrupt system.
If it is not godfatherism, somebody like me, I will become the counselor. So because I don't have a godfather, it will not work.
Because people feel that they will come and invest, they need to get something back home. So the major aim is not about the people, it's about their family and themselves.
Godfatherism will not help the politics to grow. It won't help democracy to grow.
Vote buying will even be more this time around because these people, most of them have stolen a lot of money and they will use this money to buy votes.
Who gets to represent you in government at all levels?
Well, for me, the new breed aspirants, I would love the new breed aspirants. But for those, there are some of them that will not, I would say, definitely, I wouldn't want them to come back definitely to power.
Join us on Akwa Ibom Decides every Saturday and Sunday by 3 p.m. each day, exclusive to Spectrum Television, as we take on the aspirants set to lead you.
Yes, of course, as usual, a very full morning, a very educating one. Having the PPRO of the Akwa Ibom State Police Command coming to, like really educate us on the things we need to know in this time. Of course, now we have displayed on our screens consistently the helplines for the police force, and like he said, it is important for us to always try and have battery reserves in our phone, have airtime reserves, so that in case of an emergency you can quickly place a call, so that they can come to your rescue. I have personally witnessed the police force attempt to come in swiftly to when my apartment was being attacked at the time. The only thing was, like in some of these places we live, the Nkoro ways are too many. You cannot explain which Nkoro they use and come and find you. But then that was a really full morning. I really appreciate him for coming.
Yes, it was a wonderful one, and we appreciate the police public relations officers for giving us the opportunity to enlighten Akwa Ibom, and a very big thank you to the Commissioner of Police in Akwa Ibom State. And indeed, we appreciate the men and women of the Nigerian Police Force, Akwa Ibom State Command, and of course across Nigeria for the wonderful job they are doing. And we continue to pray for their safety and of course their well-being.
Yes, that's how we wrap up our show this morning. Let Akwa Ibom remain peaceful. Nigeria can become more peaceful. And yes, it begins with you, how you live with your next door neighbor. So I am Uyai Anekan signing out.
And I am Francis Adet. Have a lovely weekend.
See you at my birthday party.